But you can't help thinking in these conditions who gets first to Mark 1's pretty powerful.
It's going to be interesting here to see where the Spanish team set up. In that interview, Flo was really open with their plan going forward. He said, we don't want to be the most windward boat. So that's that left-hand side of the screen, that mark, they don't want to be there. So let's see where they do end up putting themselves.
Where you want to be and where you end up are supposedly two different things, especially when you've got the Aussies and the Kiwis going at it. And as Stevie pointed out, these are the top 3 teams on the overall standings, with New Zealand in first, Australia in second, and Spain currently in third.
Well, no good battle plan survives contact with the enemy at that first time. So here we go. New Zealand and Australia, they're tied together at the bottom. Spain are going to be the team with the run-up at things here. Right-hand side of our screen, that's the downwind end of the line. Most teams will want to be there. Most teams are going to be able to have a run-up. Spain and Australia and New Zealand up on the foils. Spain looking a little late on proceedings here. They got to pop up on the foils. There they go. They're going to wind it up at the top. Our pole predictor says they're perfectly placed at the moment. Rope-a-dope from the Spanish at the moment, as they are the most upwind boat. But can they get over the top of the black foils? Who can get it here? Pole predictor really showing the Spanish good. They make a late move down the line. How's your time in there, Botín? You look like you could have judged this just to perfect. Watch the line turn white. It's go here, the Spanish. What a move. They've slung onto the inside, timed it well. Fastest angle with New Zealand, but the Spanish have the tactical inside position. New Zealand are going to have to open the afterburners from here.
As they approach mark number 1, it is Spain out in front with New Zealand and Australia. This is the event final of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix.
Oh, pole predictor looks pretty good from there. It's judged it well. Some move by Botín. He pulled it out the bag. They lead at mark 1. Australia at the back. Slingsby's going to be looking to make a move. And now, here we go. Time to settle the heart rates down. The Spanish now will be all about when do the boats behind manoeuvre? When can we make it to the gate with no more turns?
And the Spanish, currently the fastest boat on the course, almost 60 kilometers an hour. They're on the reach. They have the highest average speed.
Once again, though, New Zealand done a lovely job with that little slingshot jibe, surprising the Spanish there. Spain have gone wide. They'll be enjoying the bit of space on the course. It's all about finding good wind now. We can see breeze moving down the course, but these boats go faster than the wind. So look slightly to the right of them for the wind they're going to sail into. Quite good news for Australia at the moment, but the Spanish still look fairly comfortable. Boat speed's very similar at the top of the mast, and it's going to be a couple more manoeuvres for New Zealand and Australia to get to the gate. It'll be interesting if Spain can get in there in one.
And there we go, the Spanish boat speed is building now. They are the fastest boat on the course, slightly more breeze, 22 kilometers an hour compared to 20 on Australia at the top of the screen.
The question is, though, can Diego Botín and the Spanish hold on to this lead? Two of the very best in the business, with Tom Slingsby and Peter Burling are in this race as well. This is a little longer than the races you saw just prior. This is a 7-leg race, Stevie, so does that change things, or is the Spanish team comfortable in holding them off for this long?
Well, it means you try and stay in the race a little bit more early on. I think the Spanish here are going to sail their own path. I think they're quite an easy opportunity to actually just turn in front of New Zealand and block their manoeuvre to the right turn. So I'm surprised they've given the Kiwis the leverage first, but they've had the first pick. They'll have been able to look for the wind, they'll have been able to make their choice, and now it kind of depends which way does the first wind shift goes. If the wind rotates towards the right of our screen, be good news for the Spanish team. If it rotates left, good news for New Zealand and Australia. 8 seconds is a big gain at gate 1, though.
Well, the good news is we've got a reporter down on the water, Lisa Dorman. What are you seeing? What do you think for the conditions with this being a 7-leg race?
I think a 7-leg race and also more room on the race course means that there's a little bit more opportunity for manoeuvres. But as we were hearing, it is a lot lighter. The manoeuvres are way more costly. Right now, Spain, they're in really good pressure. I think that they do have the better shift, so it's in the right, which means that they're sailing slightly less distance. I think that they will cross New Zealand in this. Australia, though, they look like they've lost on New Zealand.
And there are the wind speeds, just as Lisa has predicted. The Spanish are in better breeze and a better shift there. As we heard in the interview with Nicole, she did say the right-hand side was where they were ending up, or wanted to end up, and they did it.
Well, they did, but have a look at that. Remember, it was an 8-second difference at gate 2. Already the black foils have, well, it's got to be down to 2 seconds at most there. And when the boats meet up again, the rules-wise, who's got the right-of-way? Well, it'll be New Zealand that have the right-of-way. So if it is close, it's going to be pressure on Spain. But as we say, it's an open racetrack. But all the teams are choosing to sail fairly freely. I think the wind's fairly average on the shift at the moment. Both look like they're moving up the course fairly similar amount. But New Zealand are sailing to the side where traditionally, or not traditionally, where today we've seen a little bit more wind on average.
And when we look at the modes that these teams are sailing, so far we're seeing the Spanish sailing wider angles, so further away from the marks, but at a faster speed. Meanwhile, the Kiwis, sticking true to their form this weekend, they're sailing at a slightly slower speed, but they are sailing less distance and more direct towards the mark.
Here, isn't it? Look at that good angle of the wind for Spain at the moment. They're sailing nicely up the ladder lines, but right away with New Zealand in the background, they get a little high. Ooh, good catch. 100% foiled flight time all round. Australia flying the highest at the moment, but New Zealand have the right of way. The Spanish are going to have to think about this. Do they turn in front of Spain? I think you try and turn in front of New Zealand if you can, but the Kiwis are going to be faster. Tight moment here. Spain owns the mark. The black foils have got the most speed at the moment. Spain holds on. Great tactical sailing, Bo Botín. Expect an attack on this downwind from the black foils.
Diego Botín and the Spanish get to that yellow circle first. They take the priority. It slows down the Kiwis. And so now it is Spain who got the whole shot at mark number 1. They are back into first place. Burling now in second place. And this is going to be a great and very important leg, Stevie and Emily, as they make their way down course.
And we saw some expert boat handling there by the Spanish team. We saw as they turned that they kept both boards in the water for an extended period of time. And this is because it was crucial in that maneuver to stay up on the foils at all costs. So it is a little bit slower when you put both foils in the water for a long time, more drag, but it ensures you stay up on the foils and can get up to speed quickly.
Stevie, this position, though, are the black foils getting the disturbed air from Spain?
No, the black foils would be trying to put the disturbed air onto Spain, but I think the Spanish actually sailed an angle a little bit away from the wind to tactically position for this move. They've positioned themselves well. They took a little loss to have a long-term gain. They will now be looking to put disturbed air down onto the New Zealand team, and that's going to be good down the rest of the leg.
And this on the bottom left is a little summary from that previous leg. So you can see what I was talking about with the Spanish sailing slightly more distant than the Kiwis. Well, the Kiwis are opting for that 2.0.
Really tight down here. There will be a little bit of disturbed air going onto the New Zealand boat, but not a lot. The Spanish have positioned really well. Fantastic tactical sailing. Took a little loss at the top for control, but expect the Kiwi. Here we go. Black foils are going to split away, and I think the right turn has worked well for them so far today. Both boats turn the mark, and it looks to me like what was 8 seconds is going to be 0 seconds. Absolutely neck and neck at that bottom mark there. 1 second in it. There's nothing in it. Who finds the most wind? Spain sailing to Prix. But what have New Zealand found on this side of the course?
And you heard Diego Botín say as they went around the gate, good pressure here, so he's looking to make some changes and hopefully pick up some distance.
And there's the live speeds, both wind speed and boat speed. The Spanish are sailing so quick at the moment, 50 kilometers an hour. They're only dropping now because they have turned.
Here we go. Pretty decisive moment in the race here. It looks like a nice choice early on the leg for the Spanish. Burling won't like what he sees at the moment, but if the wind rotates towards the left of the course, that will be good news for the black foils. Here we go. How well do they stick this maneuver?
Look at that choreography. Burling comes across there and just keeps it up.
I think that was a pretty good maneuver. The wind looked a little bit light, but right now that is a gain to the Spanish. Big gain. Huge move there. 100-meter lead there in the blink of an eye. Opportunity here for the Spanish to lock things down. They're far enough ahead to turn the boat directly in front of New Zealand and get themselves going the same way. I'll be surprised if the Spanish continue and give a separation to New Zealand now.
And if you're just joining us, this is the event final at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. These are the 3 teams with the most points. It is Spain out in front, New Zealand in second, Australia in third. They're going to go to the top of the course, come back down the course, and then a quick left-hander to the finish line. And in a matter of minutes, we're going to find out who's going to claim the title.
So the Spanish had a 100-meter lead there. It is dropping rapidly now down to almost only 60 meters of lead as they came across that bottom side of the course, giving a little more advantage to the Kiwis. It'll be interesting to see what happens after this next turn.
Stevie, if I'm Spain and I've seen what the black foils have done all weekend long, I want a pretty sizable lead as I get around this next gate.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they kind of let that gap open up. If the Spanish can make it to this gate with no more maneuvers, I think that could be a good move there. But they're they're going to let separation form again with the black foils. It looks like the Spanish are setting up, so they're going to try and block New Zealand. They've got a big enough lead. I think, yeah, they look comfy, they look calm. There you go, no rush. Good comms from Florian Trittel. And yeah, I think the black foils, they're fast, but they're making some little mistakes. And here you go, they're trying to split away from the fleet. Huge amount of heel. Not a great maneuver by the black foils.
Look at the Kiwis.
They're trying to force things.
3, 2, 1.
So was that a case of the Kiwis see more pressure on that side of the course, or they just wanted to split the course and get away from the Spanish?
Last roll of the dice, I'd say that was, Todd, because they did not do a great maneuver. That was a last-minute decision. It's left the Aussies back in. They will have a chance on this downwind leg. At least they're on separate sides, but this is big advantage Spain right now.
To me, that final maneuver by Spain could have been the race-winning moment, forcing the Kiwis to turn away and come off the foils.
And don't look now, but Tom Slingsby back in the mix. He would love to pick up another position and somehow pass Peter Burling and the Kiwis. Remember, nothing will change in the overall, despite the fact that these three teams are battling in the event final, because this is 1, 2, and 3. Remember, it's 10 points to the winner, 9 for second, 8 for third. And with New Zealand with a 9-point lead on Australia, they will not lose the overall, but Australia would love to pick up yet another point.
Yeah, I think at the moment the Spanish crew are sailing back into good wind here, right of ways with New Zealand, but that's too big a lead here. Botín and Trittel have absolutely nailed this one. They've put a brilliant race together after a perfect start. Advantage Spain at the moment. If they can make it with no more manoeuvres, it looks good. Like at the moment, they look like they're aiming for that mark, and they're comfy on New Zealand.
Spain all dressed up and looking for suitors as they are looking for new sponsorships, and what a way to put this on your CV.
Pressure here, looks good.
Very nice indeed, as Diego Botín comes around this last mark. Winners in Los Angeles, and it is Spain who gets into the final here in Bermuda by a tiebreaker, and give it up for the Spanish. They will claim the victory here in Bermuda.
Oh, vamos, the Gallos.
Amazing moment for this Spanish team, stealing the win from the Australians and the New Zealanders.
What a moment. I mean, what an arrival in SailGP, really, to beat the two top teams by a long way. It's a great result again for the black foils. Australia, well, they'll be happy to get the wheels back on the bus, but for Spain, what an incredible result, and well done to that crew, because they nailed the start when the pressure was on.
One of the youngest teams in SailGP, and they come up with yet another victory. They back up Los Angeles with a big win here in Bermuda.